Hello, beautiful people of the internet. Welcome to the Senary Saloon retrospective. Before we start the video, make sure you go check out Kevin Film's YouTube channel along with Infinum. Also, I won't be doing any of the older FNAF because it's my Nights at Freddy's instead of FNAF. I know this. Anyways, I won't be doing any of the other series retrospectives because a YouTube name Esprintas. I honestly can't pronounce the name. I'm going to be honest, and I don't know how to pronounce it. Sorry, but he should be on screen right now. And he said everything about what I would have said about the series. I agreed with most of his opinions. Anyways, okay, so Senary Saloon is a FNAF Minecraft roleplay series created by Caveman Films and Infinum based off their previous installment of the series. Without further ado, let's start night 1. This night starts off with us finding out that Ant is alive. We learn that Ant told Dan about the job that he has been working at. Ant and Dan reunite and Ant tells Dan about more of the job, describes more of the job. Ant says that it's similar to how they worked, where they worked in the past, but it's way safer. After that, Dan feels reassured that this place is safe, and they start on their tour. While on the tour, Ant tells Dan about an AI they created called Al. Al makes the place way safer, but the AI is not working because the power is on the fritz. After Dan sees his office, the night begins. But during the night, something goes wrong, such as Vinny, Farha Bonnie, and Chica, also all the rest of the animatronics, all attacking Dan while Ant is in the vents trying to fix the power. Around 4 a.m., a text-to-speech bot calls on the telephone, and it says for Dan to go to the salvage shed without Ant. At the shed, there is a Bonnie on the other side of the room. Then, what is basically a FNAF 6 salvage minigame goes on. But something strange happens during the salvage. Dan just dies. And then comes back. But anyways, now it's time for my opinion. Okay, so my opinion on this episode is that everything is great. Everything is amazing. The acting, the models, even the pacing. The voices. Okay, so when I was watching this, whenever Ant was far, they made it so that his voice sounded like he was far. Or if he was too far for Dan to hear, they would make his voice talk on a radio. And I just find that really cool and unique, because nobody else does that. It's amazing. It really helps me to be immersed in this and not just thinking, oh, this is a quirky block game. And seriously, I could tell how much hard work and passion went into this. This feels like it could be an actual game. But I have one very teensy-weensy, very small criticism. Or nitpick, as I should say. The lighting in the episode could be a tiny bit better if there was way more light. Just it was too dark. Most of my screenshots that you see is either me brightening up the image or the image that's already way too dark. But besides that, this is more than I could ever ask for. Anyways, time for night 2. Okay, so night 2 starts off with Dan at his motel in the bath thinking about the past. But, Ant just has to interrupt. So Ant calls Dan in for work. When Dan arrives at work, Al congratulates Dan on completing the salvage last night. After Al is done talking, Ant walks in the room. When Dan tells Ant that Al was actually talking to him, Ant says that he wasn't supposed to do that. Also, Dan thinks that Al might be responsible for the animatronics malfunctioning. But for once, something actually good happens. And Ant says that he called from corporate, and corporate told him that if you tip Bonnie, he won't be angry at you. After that conversation, the night begins. About 3 a.m.-ish. Could be 3, could be 4, could be 2, who knows. During the night, Ant gets so fed up with the animatronics that he threatens to shoot Chico with a gun. Quote unquote gun. It's actually a Nerf gun, but the animatronics think it's a real gun. Anyways, and then he actually does shoot Chica. It barely hurts because it's a Nerf bullet with a metal tip, but still, it feels like it's not even Ant. Like, seriously, it's almost like he's not even Ant. Anyways, about 5 a.m., Al calls Dan down to the salvage shed where Freddy is. After the FNAF 6 minigame, the shift is over. Now it's time for my opinion. This series feels like it's more of a Let's Play of like a FNAF fan game more than like a role play. And I think that's good. I'm actually not too sure. I'm just blown away from how good it is. I'm trying my best to find some teensy nitpick, but like I can't because it's too amazing and quirky and amazing. It's just way too good. Anyways, time for Night 3. Night 3 starts with Al calling Dan and telling him, I quote, I request your aid in ending this cycle of torment. And somehow, Al manages to slip an envelope under Dan's motel door. Don't ask me how, because I don't know. When Dan heads to work and apologizes for snapping at him. Well, not only Dan, but like all the animatronics and everybody. He also said he found and fixed the problem with the animatronics. After that, Ant showed Dan where the breaker room is, because that's where the problem was. And then the night starts. During the night, Dan opens the envelope and gets a USB stick and plugs it into his computer. When he is looking at the blueprint, he sees things such as animatronic designs, illusion discs, and remnant. But while he is looking through the blueprints, he gets interrupted by Ant. It's like really confusing. Anyways, Ant walking in. Dan immediately shuts off his computer. Ant, being suspicious of Dan, spends about 1 minute trying to question Dan. After the questioning, I think Ant gets a bit angry at Dan for hiding secrets. Also, Dan's office gets sabotaged around 5 a.m. Al said that for Dan to go to the salvage shed. When he arrives at the salvage shed, there is a Foxy in front of him. After completing the salvage shift, the shift complete. He's done. Shift complete. And then goes back to his office. Opinion time. Yay! Okay, opinion. This episode finally introduced some flaws with Senary Saloon. Or it could be me not understanding something. Okay, so I love everything about this episode, but a problem I have with it is why did Dan have to sneak away from Ant? Like, so like in the episode, right? Dan had to sneak away from Ant to get to his salvage shed. I get that he's being weird and all, and like Dan doesn't really trust Ant, but like Ant never follows him to the salvage shed anyways. Like, so like what's the deal? Also, one very small thing that bugged me during the whole entire episode. How did Al deliver the envelope? Just think of a solution, please. I need a solution to this problem. It's like more important than world hunger. Just joking, please. World hunger is actually like really important. Anyways, time for night 4. Like, that sort of rhymed. This episode starts with Dan rummaging through Ant's things. Dan finds that Ant had actually lied to him about fixing the vents, and actually Ant could not see anything from his vent sensors. After Dan hears Ant all the way from Ant's office, he decides to go back to the bathroom, which is where we ended last night. Through the vent, when Dan comes out of the bathroom, Ant says that Dan has been in there for about 12 hours. After that, Dan goes back to his office, and they both apologize to each other. And then, even though they apologize to each other, they go straight back to accusing each other of sabotage. Then, when Ant leaves, Dan finds a blast door. Not like a normal security door, like all the rest of the security guards in this franchise and in real life, but a blast door. It looks like that it could survive a truck hitting it and it wouldn't have a scratch. Anyways, Dan gets a phone call from Al telling him that Vixie's gonna be attacking tonight. Then the night begins. During the night, Ant says that he found something in the freezer. When Dan goes to check the thing out, Dan gets locked in the freezer. Ant says that the freezer won't open, but Dan thinks that Ant locked him in there. Dan finds a way eventually to get out, but through the vent. Dan hears Ant calling for him, but Dan ignores him and goes to the salvage shed to attempt to talk to Al. When he arrives, Chica is on the other side of the room after the salvage. Night 5 starts with Dan in his motel thinking about all of his life decisions before this point. Then, he goes into work and continues to argue with Ant, like for the 5,000th time. This continues to 3 a.m. At 3 a.m., Ant just sort of disappears, like pulls a like Houdini. It's crazy. And at 4 a.m., Al tells Dan to go to the salvage shed, but for no reason at all. He doesn't feel like it. It just sort of bothers me. Until 5 a.m. Because at 5 a.m. he finally decides, hey, you know what, maybe it's a good idea for me to go to the salvage shed. So then he does, while getting attacked from every single direction, until he gets to the shed. Inside the shed, Al says, Dan, leave the shed. He's managed to get in. Suddenly, Springtrap or Ronaldo or William appears. I will be referring to him as Ronaldo though, because Ronaldo is such a cool name for him. Dan can't leave because Ronaldo locked him inside. But after Dan failing terribly to protect himself, he dies. But then he respawns on the outside. And then Ant says, why would Let him in! Then the screen fades to shift complete. Now it's time for my opinion. Now it's time for my opinion. My opinion on this episode is that Dan was very stupid. Like, why wouldn't he go immediately so that the animatronics won't get him? By the way, I'm referring to the salvage shed. Like, why wouldn't he immediately go there? Somebody, please tell me why. Also, Ronaldo suffers from not be able to speak syndrome, which is basically a disease that makes him not be able to speak. Or he could speak, but I could barely tell if he's speaking words. Thankfully, this is fixed in later episodes. Anyway, it's time for... Honestly, what's 96? 96. Bye. Wait, not bye. Night 6. Night 6 starts off where we left off last time, with Dan being scolded by Ant. After Ant leaves, Al calls Dan into the salvage shed and tells Dan to put his remnant lamp on the table. When he does this, Michael, in the form of Glitchtrap, appears. Michael answers almost every question that Dan has had, and he also says, "Don't tell Ant." After that, the normal shift begins. During the shift, Ant and Dan fight even more. Also, everybody is now attacking Dan. About 5 a.m., Ant follows Ronaldo going into a small room, and Ronaldo and Ant talk while Dan is secretly following. While they are talking, with subtitles this time, "Thank you, Jesus," or whoever's up there, Dan finds out that Ant and Ronaldo have been working together. Also, for some strange reason, Ant keeps calling Ronaldo father. Now it's time for my opinion. Okay, this is my first real criticism with this whole entire series. I think that there was wasted potential of Glitchtrap. Not Michael. Michael's character is perfect. I love his character in this. But Glitchtrap could have been used in the new series, Vacancy Filled, because it has something to do with VR. Or maybe Glitchtrap could have been something for Ronaldo to possess when he dies. I feel like they could have done something else for Michael to possess. Like maybe a custom character or something else. Just to be clear, I don't hate the fact that Michael is Glitchtrap. I just think that there's wasted potential was missed. Besides that, I could not be happier with this episode. It feels like a major improvement of something that was already perfect. By the way, Ronaldo's design is the best Springtrap design I think I've ever seen. Anyway, it's time for, well, you already know, episode 7. And after Ant uses the remnant lamp on Ronaldo, Dan confronts Ant about him not being the real Ant. Ant subtly attacks Dan, but Dan shoots Ant with the metal-tipped Nerf bullet. That reveals that Ant has been Baby this whole entire time. But just before Baby could attack Dan more, Michael teleports in front of Dan and protects Dan. Michael holds off Baby so that Dan can escape back to his office. After Dan arrives at his office, he goes into what is basically 1220 mode, because there's 12 animatronics and level 20. Yeah. Towards 5 a.m., Baby manages to corner Dan in his office, but just before Baby could kill Ann, the generator explodes because too much power was being drained during the night. Dan eventually wakes up while while stumbling through the vents and rooms because of the explosion. While walking through the rooms, almost every animatronic dies in the fire. Almost. More elaboration on that later. Okay. Dan goes into the salvage shed to try to talk to Al. But sadly, Al has been rebooted. On the other side of the room, he found a very, 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 very torn up baby appear. Then the salvage starts. But during the salvage, Al removes baby's memory and releases baby's soul. Then it cuts to a newspaper. Yeah, that's the ending. Literally, that's the ending. It's like, I make it sound anticlimactic, but that's pretty much the ending. Anyways, time for my opinion. My opinion on this is that this episode has everything great about Manaf in it. If I had to describe Manaf in one video, I would say check out this video because how great it is. Everything is great, and the ending feels like Dan finally letting go of his friend's death. I can't describe in words on how great it is. Now, it is time for my final thoughts on the series as a whole. But, this series is great. And if it ended here, I wouldn't be sad. The series feels like Dan is dealing with his in his past. Like, everything in his past. For example, Dan comprehends Ant's death. And his enemy, Ronaldo, has been dealt with. Also, everybody who's worked with him died. It feels like Dan's problem in life has all gone away with the series. And it feels like the only survivor of this, of this whole entire thing is Dan. This is a satisfying conclusion to everything. I think that Dan can finally start a new chapter in his life. In the series, of course. I couldn't be happier with this. I also couldn't find a nitpick because it was too good. I love the designs and the personality. Like, me personally, the salvage animatronics were my favorite designs. The twist of Ant being baby was like an amazing twist. I don't see most TV shows, movies pulling off that good of a twist. I'm comparing them to TV shows and movies here. Come on. Like, this is amazing. Like, it wasn't too predictable that we find out that Ant was baby. Like, there was very subtle clues throughout the whole entire thing. But also, it wasn't coming out of nowhere. I can't explain how good this series is. Seriously. Go watch it again because it's just a fun and amazing thing to do. That's why I came back to the series as my second episode of this channel as a whole. Okay. So now, it's time for my outro. It's like outro, into the video thing, So, by the way, I'm so sorry this took so long for this to get out. Like, seriously, I did not expect it to take this long. Like, I had trouble with the recording software I used, and I had to restart everything from scratch. It was really annoying me, and it's like, it put everything so down, like, my motivation, like, everything. It was really killing everything. Make sure you go check out Caveman Films and Ant Venom. Their links will be in the description. I had tons of fun putting together this video. Also, please, all the actors should be on screen right now. Go check them out. Go find them. I'm honestly not sure exactly where. If anybody wants to help me out in the comments about, like, all their links and things, that would be amazing. But anyways, make sure you like, subscribe, maybe go check out my FNAF Kids retrospective. It's really cool and I find it pretty good. Now, thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all next time. Goodbye. Actually, no, maybe I should change the bye. Bye.